Welcome to the Kim and Jerry podcast, your source for all things mortgage notes and passive real estate strategies. Whether you're considering mortgage notes as a business model or exploring passive real estate opportunities, we've got you covered. Unlocking the secrets of financial success, one mortgage note at a time. With expert insights, pro tips, and engaging conversations.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Kim. How are you today?
Well, thanks. How about you?
Very good.
Yeah, it's a good
How,
time to be back together to get on the podcast, huh?
yeah, we took a little hiatus there for the summer, taking those
Yeah,
holidays.
yeah.
Took some
Did you
people.
enjoy your hiatus? Did you enjoy your vacation?
I did. We wound up moving.
Okay.
So that was not part of the plan or part of vacation, but it happened.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wish you well for your new abode.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you. Appreciate that.
And I went to my favorite place in the whole wide world. I was there for almost a month, which was
That's great.
great.
Yeah.
I know. So I wish I could have said I moved there, but I'm back.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. This place just sort of appeared, and we're blessed, and we wound up
Yeah,
coming.
you got to do it when those doors open. It's meant to be, and
Yeah.
so and there are a lot of doors that are opening for us. But before we get started, I just want to welcome everyone, and thank you for the grace for the time off that we've had. But we're back and ready to get to it. We've got a few things we want to share with you with what's happening with First Shield Financial. But welcome to the Kim and Jerry podcast. And please know that everything that we're sharing with you is for information education purposes only. We're not CPAs or financial advisors or an attorney, but we like to share and tell you how we're growing and the experiences that we are encountering with mortgage note investing. So I'm very excited and happy to be back. And so let's talk about it because, even though we were on vacation, hiatus, as you say, but, we've had a couple of good impromptu meetings with people who, embraced the whole mortgage note investing opportunity. So,
Absolutely.
and I think that's something we should share with others as well, because we are all here to, you know, walk this journey of life together, right? And so I think mortgage note investing is all part of that journey. So
Absolutely,
let's get
Kim.
started.
All right. One of the things that I was seeing on when I was out on vacation, there's a lot of anxiety today about the election.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Are you seeing that too?
I immediately went back to the heated discussion that evolved, and and it was a much different discussion. It wasn't so much about, quote, the candidates, but what did it mean for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it does feel different this time. you
Yeah.
know there's a lot of concern, and of course finances was part of that.
Absolutely. People are concerned about interest rates. They're concerned about the stock market, inflation, red, blue, all of this kind of stuff. And well, what does that mean for me going forward?
Right. Right.
How am I going to be affected? Personally, I feel really good about my finances. I moved out of the traded markets and into mortgage notes years ago. And as a result, I sleep very well at night. And, I'm glad I'm investing in notes. So I
Yeah.
think, one of the things we want to talk about today is note investing in this current hyper sensitive, hyper politicized, polarized environment that we're living in, and how this can help you as an investor um, feel better and more comfortable and not be as concerned or as anxious about who's going to be in the White House. At the
Right.
end of the
Right.
day, your money shouldn't care.
No. No.
So,
I had a similar discussion just 2 days ago with someone. Um, I'm sharing how to invest in notes, of course, and um, they wanted to know, well, how does this compare with investing in the stock market? And for me, like you, I
mhm,
took everything out because I couldn't sleep. I've lost significant monies.
yeah,
I've watched it go high and lows, and I ever since I've been out of it and since investing in notes, I haven't had that kind of ill experience.
yeah,
Um, and I don't anticipate. I don't. It's not even something I think about. Like you said, you know, I don't care about the change of administration as it pertains to my investments.
absolutely.
It's a much different feeling, but we shared some of that. So anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't want to take it away. Go ahead.
Well, and I say all of that because one of the things that all of us are looking for is something that's stable and secure.
Mhm.
We're all looking for something that's low volatility. You invest in the stock market, it's up today, it's down tomorrow, 20% today, 4%. What does that mean? My money can be gone in a instant. My money left me in an instant.
There's a book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a really good title. My money left me in an instant. I'll keep that in mind. You also are looking for consistent income.
Hmm.
And, knowing month after month, year after year, this is how much money I'm going to be getting, as opposed to, I don't know, my dividends are going to be cut, all that kind of stuff. We don't have to worry about that. The other thing
No.
is, you want something that's passive where you don't have to work at it. If you think about, investing in the stock market, every day you're checking it, Wall Street Journal, where are we?
Right.
As a
Right.
passive investor, I'm not really overly concerned. I worry about hurricanes going through Florida, but that's about it. Um,
Yeah.
and finally, the other thing that attracts me to some of the investments that we're going to be talking about now is that they're more liquid. So
Right.
you have the safety, you have the security, the stability, but you also have the liquidity. And
Right.
those are things that are really helpful and important to me. The liquidity, if I need money tomorrow, I can go out and sell a note, sell a part of a note, whatever, to get the capital I need. And that'll be another podcast because I'm doing some stuff right now because I have an investment coming due and I needed some cash, and I'm doing some little things with my notes in order to raise the cash to be able to do this other investment.
And to your point, and it's one thing that I've been able to share recently as well is that mortgage note investing is one skill,
Mhm.
but then after you've mastered the skill of investing in mortgage notes, then there's even opportunity to use the notes, leverage the notes that you have for maybe additional investing, right?
Yep,
Or you can say, or to borrow against it, right?
yep,
Or meet a need, um, or even increase the value of your portfolio with the current note that's already in your portfolio.
yeah,
Um, and which has been really exciting for people who have been coming on board with us, who are learning a different dimension or an additional dimension to the mortgage note investing for purposes, that we didn't even I would say we didn't think about, but everybody is looking to say, well, if I can do this, we can do that as well, right?
yeah,
And we just had that discussion, and it really does open up doors of opportunities that you didn't even realize that are there for you with an investment you've already made.
yeah. Agree, Kim. And one of the things that I want us to do is, we're talking about notes. As you can see, we're pretty passionate about notes.
We're
We
passionate
own
about
a
it.
lot of notes,
And we
both
own a lot
performing,
of
not
notes.
performing. That's another podcast. I think we ought to explain to people what are notes, how they're created, and why, and as a result, why we're so comfortable with this as an investment class or an asset class. So let's take a step back and just sort of walk through, where does a note come from?
Right, right. I think it's good to have this level set. Let's just go back to home plate for just a second
Okay,
and
so
and branch out there.
for those of you that have not heard us say this on a podcast before, we'll talk a little bit. The notes that we're talking about are the promise to pay that a homeowner gives the bank when they buy a new home. When a homeowner buys a house, for most of you that are listening to the podcast, you purchased a house, you've signed a gazillion pieces of paper. And you felt like you're getting writer's cramp signing all this paper. Well, the paper you were
Yeah,
signing, one of the documents was a mortgage, and the other document was a promissory note. The promissory note is the promise to pay. The mortgage says, if I don't pay, you can take my house. And the terms of how I will pay you back are in the note. So that's what we're talking about. What we're
right.
buying are those promises that your next door neighbor or you or your cousin or your aunt, whoever, made to pay me back or pay the bank back for allowing them to buy their house. So why is it stable? Because your next door neighbor, you, your aunt, your cousin, whoever, you're going to make your mortgage payment every month.
Every
You're
month.
making your mortgage payment because you want to keep the house. So
Right.
that's what we're talking about. That's the cash that we're getting. That's why it's so stable. That's why it's so consistent, because people are just paying us instead of Wells Fargo, Bank of America, people like that.
So for
I would,
clarity,
yeah,
the investment is in the paper and
yes,
not in the house itself, right?
yes,
So as mortgage note investors, you're investing in the paper itself to become now the lender of that particular property that is already established. The relationship is already established. The note is already established, but you invested. So now you are then going to be the recipient of payments every month.
yes, yeah. Now, the other question people have for us, Kim, is because, none of us grew up going, I'm going to be the bank. How did we get this? I filled out I got a new mortgage with Wells Fargo or whatever. How is it Kim and Jerry own my mortgage? Well, a minute ago, I mentioned to you that I just bought a new house, and great house, love the house. Yesterday, we got a piece of paper in the mail or letter in the mail saying our mortgage company's been changed.
Wow, that fast.
We haven't made the first payment yet.
Wow.
you know, and well, that's another podcast on why did they sell the paper that quickly?
Why do they
Because
sell the
interest rates
paper?
fell. That's why they sold the paper.
Yeah,
But anyway, they sold the paper. So just like my bank that loaned us the money to buy this house sold the paper to another entity, in many cases, in some cases, they sell it to us, to Kim and I, or some of our investor colleagues. We buy these loans from your big banks. We buy them from credit unions. We buy them from hedge funds. We buy them from other investors. So that's how we're able to get the loans.
right.
I know it's not one of those things that you just grow up saying, well, I'm going to be a bank, but that's what we do. So the quality of the paper is there because it's been underwritten to the standards that the banks have and that the government requires the banks to have. So that's how we got the paper. That's why we have it.
Right. And and it's amazing how many people, and when I say people, all walks of life don't understand that this is even an option to invest in, right?
True.
And I'll be honest with you, I worked for a bank. I was a loan signing agent. you know, I didn't know I could become the bank when in that capacity. So, while I have a very strong relationship and understanding of mortgages, the fact that I could become the bank wasn't something that I learned immediately in that capacity, right? It was not until later that I did. But, so the background did help me, but never in that walk was it ever discussed that, you can invest in mortgage notes yourself, if you want to, let me know, we'll talk about it. But it's such a niche, but it's a very powerful niche. It's a very powerful investment. And like you said, it's simple. When I say it, when you think about the stock market, I used to do day trading once upon a time ago. Can I just tell you the headache? Okay, it's not like that at all. But, so when I say simple, it's not that kind of trade or not that kind of investment, right? But it's anything that anyone can embrace and understand, right? It's secure and it's backed or it's secured by the real property, right? And
Yeah.
so that's what makes it, in my opinion, a better investment, where I can sleep at night because I'm not impacted by what the market is going to do tomorrow, right? So
Makes sense. Makes sense. And as you're saying that, Kim, and we're talking about that this is a secure investment. How about walking us through why it's secure? What can happen? What can possibly happen with this note?
when you have that note, it's a promise to pay, right? So, I mean, that's it. There's a debt that must be satisfied. So, either people are paying it as agreed, per the note, the terms, etc., or, it gets paid off early. A lot of people refinance. There's a lot of refinancing going on right now. The rates have dropped a little bit. So, people refinance, right? So the note that you're holding when people refinance that property, your note gets paid off early because refinance is basically a sell and buy transaction with the owner, right? And so the note that you're holding gets paid off because that borrower has refinanced, right? Which is great, or they hit lotto or whatever the case may be. The worst case scenario, and it's not really a bad case, it's just a different strategy, right? Is that they fail to pay. But, in the event that things can't get worked out, there's no loan modification or anything like that. And the recourse is that, you have to liquidate the property. There's foreclosure. And it goes right back to it gets paid off early because, just makes that loop that debt gets satisfied from the liquidation. And I don't mean to make, light of it, but as an investor, this is the reason why it is stable, it is safe, it's secure, it is backed by the real property. And so when you make the investment, you already know what your investment is and what the worst case scenario is. And then you decide in the event something like that takes place, what's the exit strategy? So
Absolutely. So, great words, Kim. As you said, three things can happen. Those are the only three that can happen with a note investment. With other types of investment, whether it's real property, you're a landlord, whether it's the stock market, whether it's crypto or whatever, there are an unlimited number of things that can possibly happen to your investment that can wipe out your investment. In the case of a mortgage note, only those three.
yeah,
And as you can see, none of those were things that said your investment, you lose your total investment.
no, no, no.
So, wanted to kind of put a bow around this. We talked about, there's an election coming. People are anxious about it. But if you are a note investor, if you're investing in the types of assets that we're talking about, the types of assets we're investing in, you can sleep well at night knowing that your investment is not going to be affected at all by anything that happens in the election. Your investment's not going to be affected by interest rates, stock market, inflation, who controls the White House, who controls the Senate, all that stuff. your investment is safe, your investment is secure.
Right.
So
Right.
I wanted to just sort of talk to you a little bit about that, because as we said, the election's coming, everybody's talking about it. So we figured we got to talk about it.
Right. No, and you can't help but talk about it. No matter where you are, what are you doing? You know, you're bombarded by media in regards to it, right? And one of the things that this trip that I take annually is with ladies, and so we're all sitting on the front porch in rocking chairs with a glass of wine, and inevitably this conversation comes up, right? And and you have to discuss it, but there was a lot of anxiety around what does this mean for them, us personally, when it pertains to finance, to your investment, to those who have experienced seeing drastic changes in your portfolio because of the dynamics that took place in the market, right? We're the boomer crowd, So, us boomers, we're resilient because we have survived a lot of things. So, and we're over it. We don't want to have to survive anything else. We just want to live life and live life good. And so, it was an opportunity for me to be able to speak about, the advantage of investing in mortgage notes and whether you wanted to be a passive investor and what that looked like versus being an active investor. And I can tell you that my ladies, my friends, and, the boomer crowd was not interested in being active investors. And so, we talked more about being a passive investor, which will probably lead into what your next announcement is going to be. But, there's a lot of excitement around it. And, I'm almost grateful for the election at this point because it gave me an opportunity, to speak off the cuff about, some really good news. And so I did so. And so I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to say anything about it. We'll go ahead and let you have it. But, I just want to let you know my front porch was busy. And,
I
and
understand.
yeah,
So,
it was good.
and as you were saying, that just does kind of lead us into, as we're wrapping up, one of the things that are happening with us at First Shield, effective September 1st, we started our first note fund.
Yeah.
It's for accredited investors, and it's going to focus on non-performing notes, but we're also going to have a number of performing notes in that portfolio as well. This is the teaser. We're just going to mention it today. More to come. As Kim mentioned, we are modifying our website to be able to provide more information about the fund. So stay tuned. You'll be able to find out a little bit more. And in the future podcasts, we'll talk about the investment returns and things like that for the fund.
And then if you really want to get some insight right now, you're welcome to reach out to us. And, my email, of course, is kim@oneshieldfinancial.com. Jerry is jerry@oneshieldfinancial.com. We don't mind having some preliminary discussions and being able to share with you one-on-one of maybe what some opportunities that you might like to look into. But we are preparing basically for, a more of a different kind of an announcement of the fund. So, but we definitely don't want you to have to wait if you don't want to.
For those of you that want to jump the gun, just give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll send you over an executive summary.
Yeah. And we got something else planned for 2025, right?
Absolutely. 2025 is going to be our year. Again, just to let the community know, come March, we're going to have a note summit in Jacksonville, Florida. So we'll give you more information about that, dates and so on, but just wanted to let the world know that we'll be bringing folks down. In the course of that summit, we'll be talking about notes, but we'll also be having folks in that can talk about family dynasty, family trusts, various ways of being able to invest to protect your money. So a lot of the folks that are part of our universe, part of our world, that are experts in things, will be here to be able to help any investor that's interested in learning more about how to protect their assets. The other thing I'll
Right.
say is Jacksonville, Florida in March is not bad.
No,
For
no.
those of you that are in the Northeast, the temperature's about 80 degrees
Right, right.
and it's sunny every day. So,
Yeah,
there's a lot of good golf if you're a golfer.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And those professionals that need to be there to give that kind of advice will be there. Our attorneys, financial advisors, CPAs, they will be joining us. And so, but it'll be an opportunity to really be able to give that kind of guidance that we believe that, should be part of everyone's understanding. Because mortgage notes, investing in mortgage notes is life changing. It's a gift.
absolutely.
It's a gift, and we want to share that with everyone. So, yeah. Well, this was good, Jerry. I think that welcome back, and let's do it again soon. Now that we're both back, behind our desk and heads down and making this happen, so we'll have another one soon. But I appreciate you always, and look forward to our next podcast.
Absolutely.
And if you, our listeners, we welcome you to subscribe and like. If this is what you like hearing and want to revisit and be alerted every time we put a podcast out, please subscribe. Please like the video for us. Okay? All right.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you, Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that wraps up another episode of the Kim and Jerry podcast, brought to you by First Shield Financial, your trusted partner in cash flow investing. If you found value in today's discussion on mortgage note and passive real estate strategies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, connect with the Shield, and stay in the loop for our upcoming opportunities and episodes packed with even more insights and inspiration.